Hey y'all, here's how I designed the character that ended up being popcorn and flower themed for no reason. I started this character design during November for the Huion Art Challenge, and this was day number 5. I made my own color wheel for the challenge, and this day happened to be a very bright and energetic yellow color, as you will see. I wanted to do a character that had inspiration from Trinidad, which is where most of my family is from, and the bright colors helped a lot with the inspiration. When I started scribbling everything down, I wanted them to have a large hat that was very, very inspired by the African way of head carrying. The hat would be used to carry something. Something was not decided at the time. What it was gonna be was, I figured it out later. So I looked up a bunch of happy yellow characters and birds and fruit. The color scheme is in part inspired by melons, without the green parts, of course. I even have the Smash Cube in my references. And I settled on an idea of a person who lives more on the countryside or in like the bush that's just minding their business. Just going about their day. I did have to change their pose just a little because they were very lopsided, and honestly, if I'd left it as is, they would have probably just dropped everything they were carrying or fallen backwards. Given the location that this was being inspired by, the clothes are very loose and very light because they would be in a very warm climate, and really thick clothes would be more of a hindrance. Trust me on that. I gave them a simple pair of sandals with a belt to tie around their waist, a dark pair of shorts, and the really bright yellow on their shirt is meant to be a sheer see-through fabric for a little bit of personality. The idea I had of what they were carrying was meant to be flowers at the time. A large amount of flora that they'd just be carrying on their head and just going about their day with. Maybe carrying it somewhere, maybe going to give it to somebody. If it were me, I would have probably just collected them all and given them to my grandmother. Now, it kinda suspiciously looks like popcorn, right? I hadn't noticed it at first until I showed it to somebody, and that was the very first thing that they thought. Not gonna lie, I thought it was hilarious. It's the reason I decided to call this drawing Pop Flora. Plus, the thought was pretty cute. A popcorn flower hat. It's kind of adorable. Now, I wasn't originally planning on animating it, but I was still pretty full of energy because this was during the starting days of the challenge. So I thought, why not? That energy did not last the end of the challenge. The plan was to keep the animation really simple, just a looping idle pose that you would see on an NPC. Maybe they're in a game, maybe they're in a movie. They're just doing their thing. There could be a little shopkeeper just selling popcorn flower candy by the roadside. Now I'm kind of curious if popcorn flower candy is a thing, actually. I worked on animating the body first because the shapes involved are pretty simple and easy to imagine. The main thing I really wanted in the animation was just the flowers / popcorn flying and falling off of the hat. That was, for the most part, just involving moving large chunks at the same time on the hat, as well as trying to keep the body moving to keep it fairly fluid. I wanted their pose to be them bouncing pretty happily in place. The movements that were needed was the hat bobbing up and down, with some flowers / popcorn falling out of it, of course. The clothes swaying up and down with the body movement, and of course, the bending of the knees. I decided to make them blink in response to the hat pushing down more on their head, and of course, the feet aren't going to move, and they're just going to stay planted in place, because they don't really need to be animating because they're not going to walk. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the whole thing turned out. This is a 48 by 64 sprite. I adore how Pop Flora came through. And I hope you all do also. Have a good day. And see you next time, of course.